If you are someone who spends hours perfecting your speeches, your scripts, your talks, you prepare questions for every team meeting that you're going to, if you fiddle with your deck until it's really, really perfected, if you find it hard to be passionate, to show some real emotion behind the content that you're talking about, if you are fearful of really being you, of being yourself, if you think that being young and inexperienced is a great barrier to having your ideas heard up, then you need to listen up. This is something you really, really need to hear. A couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine sent me a link to watch a video and just said, you need to watch this. So I clicked on the link, and she hadn't prepared me for what I was about to watch. And it was the maiden speech of Hannah Roweti Mappee-Clark, who is the youngest Maori member of the New Zealand government. And it was her maiden speech. I was a mess by the end of it, an absolute mess. I was blubbing. I had no tissues. It was genuinely ugly. But what she did was so incredibly powerful, and I really, really want to share it with you. So, perfecting. We like to think that by being perfect, by showing up, by doing the best work that we can possibly do, that we're going to somehow get a higher grade like we did at school, that somehow people are going to take us more seriously. Nobody is moved to action. Nobody is moved to caring by perfect spelling or error-free slides. Good work is important. We have to be doing the right things to a certain standard, depending on where we are in an organization. But being perfect is not what it's about. Hannah was not perfect. She really, really wasn't, but she was incredibly powerful. Now, we also think that being professional, being logical, being data-driven is the thing that is going to persuade our audience to take up our ideas, to listen to us more frequently. Now, logic really is important, like flow is important. If we're all over the place with our content, it becomes really hard for our listeners to make sure that they are following through to a logical conclusion. But it isn't what is going to persuade them to care or to take action, because we only take action of the things we care about. So logic does help us, but only retrospectively. So whilst you do have to be data-driven and logic, we don't want to be forcing that down people's throats. And Hannah did an amazing job of really creating the emotional connection with her content, with the people around her, with her people. It was just amazing. Now, if you are someone who thinks that fluency and flow is really, really important, if you're someone who has lots of filler words, like basically, those kinds of things, or maybe even you have some kind of stammer that maybe gets in the way and is heightened by more stressful situations like standing up to talk, and you feel that fluency is the thing that drives the connection and how seriously you are taken by your colleagues, honestly, listen to Hannah. She's not perfectly fluent. She stumbles over her words. She says some wrong things. She has to go back and repeat sentences. It doesn't matter, because her emotional connection to what she's saying, the drive, the belief that she has in what she's saying is so strong that as a listener, you just don't care. We seem to think that we need to be serious to be taken seriously. And in the world of work, that means low emotion when we're speaking, that we keep it sensible, we keep it serious, we keep it maybe a little bit more monotone, less excitable than we might when we're speaking to people outside of work or to our friends and colleagues within work. But actually the emotion shows that you care, that you are invested in what you're saying, that you believe in what you're saying, that it is important. And that shows through and shines through to your audience. And then they know as a cue to take it seriously. There is a big difference between being emotional and emotionful. Now, Hannah's speech is a little bit of both. She is emotional in it, but it's an important speech and we're emotional on her behalf. But more of the time, she is emotionful. You can see the passion, you can see the care, you can see the drive for her to do this thing. It is unbelievably powerful. We also think that we need to be the same. We need to look and sound like everyone else around us so that we are incredibly similar and homogenized to the people, because if I look like them or I sound like them, then I'm going to fit in. And so we actually diminish differences. And what Hannah does just beautifully is emphasize those differences and celebrate those differences and revel in those differences, speaking in Maori and then speaking in English. And what she does in that speech is amazingly straddle both worlds, and is trying to find similarities and is accepting of the differences and trying to build the bridges so she can get what she wants and needs for her people through the system. So it becomes her and us against the problem, not we are the problem. It is just incredibly powerful communication. And then finally, if you are somebody who believes that because you are young, because you're inexperienced, you cannot make a difference, oh my goodness, go watch that video. I cannot tell you how effective it is. She's 21 years old. She's standing up in government for the first time, and she is determined to make a difference. She's using her youth, she's using her energy, and in such a way that is just so compelling to listen to. It is genuinely and honestly the most beautiful, emotional, raw, and unfiltered war cry I have heard in a long time. And it was unbelievably refreshing to see. She is doing politics her way. She is communicating her way. And I think she is going to have an incredible career. She has so much potential because she was willing to show up, to be imperfect, to allow her emotions to show, to accept that she's different, to accept that she's young, and use all of those things to say, I'm going to do it anyway, and it will be imperfect, but you are going to listen. Whether you agree or not isn't the point, but you are going to listen. So if you haven't seen it, please go and watch on YouTube Hannah Roweti Mappee-Clark making her maiden speech in the New Zealand government. It is phenomenal. I promise you, it will not waste your time. If you are someone who does not like speaking, who does perfect, who is worried about their age, is trying to be too serious, and is leaning on that logic and that sensible kind of business head, and you want to learn to communicate as you, then come to our next masterclass, which is going to be on leadership presence or executive presence. And so you can learn what it is that she's doing that is making her such a powerful communicator. We will drop the link below, and hopefully we will see you there. Take care. See you soon. Bye now.